Today it is Saturday, November 18th, the year is 2017. Got a question from a Facebook friend. Let me see if I can find this question. Where is she? All right, so the question was from a young lady who's on Facebook. She says, I want to move to Atlanta, so you don't think it's a good idea? I want to move to Atlanta, so you don't think it's a good idea. I wrote, hell no. Somebody else asked, why do you want to move to Atlanta? Do you already have a job lined up with the income requirements to fit your living? If you are moving from one low housing market to the next and salary ranges are not high, then explore what possibilities that might be great, what other possibilities might be great for you. She wrote, I'm originally from New York City. I live in Fort Worth, Texas now. It's very slow and non-culture here. I am a substitute teacher. I also have a CDL, so I don't think it would be hard to find employment because there's always a need for the two. I just want something better for my 11-year-old son, culturally wise and cultural wise and safety. I said, and I wrote her back, because when I saw that 11-year-old son, I said, when you want to bring an 11-year-old son to raise in Atlanta metropolitan area, wow, not a good idea. I said, Atlanta's not the place, right? Not the place to raise an 11-year-old kid. That would be the worst mistake you ever made. The schools here are terrible. Unless you can pay for a private school and live in a very expensive area of the city. East Cobb County, parts of North Fulton County. It'd be very expensive for someone who's a substitute teacher who just has a CDL license, who's just moving here to pay for this type of housing. And she'd be over in South DeKalb, parts of Gwinnett, Clayton County, areas where I would never want to raise my 11-year-old kid. And I asked again, because I keep hearing about this culture people keep talking about. So I said, I would move Atlanta, the state of Georgia, off the list of places to move my 11-year-old son. This is not the place to raise him successfully. And what culture are you talking about here that you want your son to be part of? Please explain. And this is what she wrote. Texas, it's a lot of rodeo and cowboy culture here. I'm from New York. I'm used to more African-American things to do, like museum, clubs, and just a place to hang out where I don't feel out of place. I feel out of place here and it's too slow for me. There's a lot of racism here and I've never experienced that before I came here. I hear so much about Atlanta having black culture and things to do. I guess I've been watching too much Housewives of Atlanta. And I just wrote it back, Atlanta is not what you think it is. Keep your son out of this city. Go back to New York or Washington, D.C. And she said, I appreciate the advice. Now, I've lived in Atlanta for 30 years. Damn near 30 years. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to Atlanta, Georgia. This is not the type of place where it's not a good environment for African-American children, just black children. It's just not. Now, if that woman had said that she had a PhD and she had business master's, she was working for some company and she was making $100 plus $50,000, $200,000 a year, that she can afford to move into East Cobb County where they have some of the best schools, or north of the city, North Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, with the north side of town, where you got Sarah Smith Elementary, you got all these great schools, Jackson Elementary. To get into those places, they're top-notch public schools, but they're almost, Jackson Elementary is sort of considered a private school, but it is a part of Atlanta public school system. But look what these people, parents who own homes, they pay millions for those houses. You know, no apartments for rent in those areas. And in Jackson Elementary, I doubt very soon you find anything for rent in that area that you can afford. That rent probably would be so outrageous, it would be ridiculous. To get those are the good schools. Then you said an 11-year-old son. So I'm thinking 11-year-old son, that means he's in middle school. That's when the true disaster starts. Middle schools here in Atlanta, flat out, across the board, terrible. That's when most parents transfer their children, who can afford to transfer their children into private schools. But if they get them through those first years in the public school system at a good school, then it's surprising. I'm talking about people who really, really, really are dedicated to the education of their children, who this is their life to get they want their child to get an education. And one thing she didn't say about 11-year-old son, she said anything about education. Nothing. I would love to know how those schools are out there in Texas. Yeah, there's a little bit of racism out there, but you don't have to worry about your son getting shot and killed walking down the streets going to school, going to a school here in Atlanta. That area of Fort Worth, Texas might be a whole lot safer. Yeah, and I don't know. As I've gotten older, I realize that I can live anywhere and be comfortable anywhere. Because I'm not really trying to, when I was younger, all this trying to be around a lot of other black folks, I used to think that was cool. I gotta be somewhere. I gotta go to this black club. Gotta go to this now. And I'm thinking we need to be more diverse. The black community is too isolated, and it might be a good thing that your 11-year-old son is learning different things than other African Americans are learning in Texas. I mean, he's in Texas. These people in Atlanta ain't learning shit. And the culture, what are you all please, I wish somebody would please tell me what this culture is they keep screaming about Atlanta. I lived there, I'm thinking, now, Atlanta at one point may have had some culture, but after the civil rights movement in the late 60s and the 70s, that culture vanished. You know, so, you know, you got Arbor Avenue and all these places. There's nothing down on Arbor Avenue. A couple of restaurants they've been trying to revitalize Arbor Avenue since I moved here. They've been trying to revitalize Arbor Avenue in the West End and create this area. They're trying, but it's not there. And I've been in for years. But unless you consider culture, that malls and stores up Peachtree Road, going towards Lenox Mall and Phipps Plaza and shopping and stuff and clubs. I mean, I don't know somebody please educate me on all this culture that's supposed to be here in Atlanta, because I'm missing it. All I see is, I don't see this community of people. I couldn't even tell you. I know maybe one or two good soul food places that I would go to eat. One is Mary Mac's on Martin Luther King. Then there's the Beautiful. I wanted some soul food. I consider that part of culture. This is not New Orleans. Atlanta's not New Orleans. New Orleans, they have culture down there. I think there's a lot of stuff going on in New Orleans. It's an artist community. It's a vibrant place, or it was a vibrant place. I don't know what happened after the floods down there. I mean, I understand that a lot of African Americans no longer live in the New Orleans community. A lot of that element, a lot of blacks were forced out and could not return. So for me, it's kind of like, I'm trying to understand this culture thing. Everybody keeps flocking about to Atlanta, going to restaurants, in malls and stores. That's not culture to me. Now, for me, when I think of culture, I do think of museums, I think of plays, art, exhibits, artwork. I don't know. That's the stuff that would intrigue me. Now, there is some stuff going on here in Atlanta, but not to the scale where, you got people flocking to Atlanta to see this culture. I mean, like they would go into New Orleans, or they would go into various parts of San Francisco or something like that. So you don't have this vibrant place here where you have this cultivating of culture in the area of town, even little 5 Points. Look, I'm just trying. I'm keeping it real. I've been here for 30 years. If you live here and you think that you know an idea of what she's talking about when she says culture and nightclubs and stuff, then let me know. Because I know that there are poetry readings at nighttime at some various clubs in town. And I've been invited to some events or something that takes place every Thursday night where they have this poetry and all this different stuff. But me not being a nighttime person anymore, it's very difficult and complicated for me to get my ass up, get dressed, put some clothes on, and go out at nighttime. It's very rare. I'm not a night crawler. I'm more of a daytime person. So for me, if there's something going on in daytime, I would love to participate and be a part of it. But I keep hearing about this culture here, and I'm just thinking, maybe I'm missing something. They've opened up a ton of retail stores here. You got the Beltline here. You got a lot of stuff, activities that you can do. But if I was looking for an opportunity for my 11-year-old son I think I would probably be looking in places that were more diverse. African Americans need to begin teaching their children different languages. You have an 11-year-old son, he should know Spanish or even Japanese. There's no way I would bring a child into this world today and they not learn, no, at least be they gotta learn different languages. And sometimes you need to be someplace where that language is being spoken on a daily basis so your children can learn this language. So they can do that. That will help them more so in life later on. Where would I take? There are some great cities out here. And I'm trying to think. I mean, I think Phoenix, Arizona would be a great place. Parts of California, San Diego. I mean, these are not African American large cities, which is a positive thing. Sometimes you got to get away from all this foolishness. There's too much foolishness flocking to Atlanta here. You got too many people flocking to Atlanta who are worthless and really should be here. You got some good people coming, you got some bad people coming, because they all come here by Atlanta. I'm thinking, why? But they seem to be stuck on coming to Atlanta. And then you got, I was going to say Minneapolis. I have friends who moved there who absolutely love Minneapolis. I have friends who were working here in Atlanta, had various jobs, got tired of Atlanta. It's a much colder winter environment, but they said it's a much better city. It's just a different environment. They like it a whole lot better. They said the Black Americans are doing very well in Minneapolis. And Denver, Colorado is another city. I would avoid any city that has large groups of African Americans living in poverty. Large groups of black folks living in poverty is not a good thing. Atlanta has a large section of the city where you still have people who are mired and stuck in poverty, and I don't know how they're going to get out of it. They're forcing them out of the city now. They're forcing them out of the city through gentrification, and now forcing them further out into the suburbs. Clayton County comes to mind. Douglas County comes to mind. Parts of Henry County come to mind. Lithonia, DeKalb County is a hellhole. I wouldn't take a dog over to DeKalb County and South DeKalb County. You know, you got some areas here that just are. Keep your son. I would look around Texas a little bit closer before I came this direction. I don't know much about Houston, Texas, but I heard it has a somewhat thriving economy. You're not too far from Houston. I heard it has a large black population there. I don't know anything about Houston other than the things that I've heard. I think I'd take a look there first before I came cross country to Atlanta. That is a tough place to survive. You're a substitute teacher. Then you need to proceed forward with getting your credentials so that you can be a full-time teacher if that's what you really want to do. Or you're a substitute teacher and you have a CDL license for driving a truck. Well, truck driving means you can be out on the road all for weeks and weeks at a time. Or got to focus on which career choice you want that's best for you and your 11-year-old son. I don't know what to say about I don't know where your son is in life at 11 years of age. I know it all contingent upon your parenting skills. Love to know if his father is involved in his life, which I don't know. You know, I think that's very important that these young boys do have. There are some elements here in Atlanta that I would not expose my child to. Not in Atlanta. I look at other cities. There's a ton of other places where African Americans, Black Americans are doing so great. Even if in places like, and I hate to say this, like it might be a little sound ridiculous, but it's a little bit slower. It has some rough spots. But Birmingham, Alabama isn't a bad place. I just have to find, I don't know much about the school systems over there. Another thing, I think Black Americans have got to get out of this public school nonsense. You got to start finding private schools and ways to pay for these private schools for your children and get them away from the public school system because it's not working. The public schools are not working out in our favor. Period. Especially for black children. They're just not. So we just can't continue to go down this path and just pull up to Atlanta with a U-Haul and send your child to the local school up the street. It's going to be a disaster. I've seen that in my own family. It's not going to work. It's just not. I'd rather stay up north. I would focus on a city that has great education and great opportunities for you as a mother and your son and the housing costs. Okay, because housing is starting to get kind of expensive here in Atlanta unless you go out to the hood. It's just starting to get outrageously priced, and these rents are sky high. For something nice, you're going to be paying a lot of money for this stuff. Is it worth it? I don't know the answer to that, but you got to buy a home someplace out in there. There are certain areas like where I live at right now. These homes are going for $350, $3 to $500, $600, $700,000 and up. But the schools are terrible. But most of the people moving in here, the kids are so young that they don't have the kids are so young that they don't have that to worry about that type of what's the word I'm looking for? Schools right now. Because the schools don't concern them, so they're coming in here with the younger children. But I have a problem with buying a house that's running me from $300,000 to $800,000 in the school systems. The local schools suck. Now, there are some bright spots in Atlanta. The city of Decatur is a wonderful place to raise a child. I think parts of the city of Decatur are heaven on earth. You can go into the city of Decatur, not unincorporated DeKalb County, but the city of Decatur. Great schools, great community, great housing choices. You have rent stuff you can rent, you could own. Certain parts are affordable. You can find someone, you can get your kids. Their school have a good school system. The city of Decatur has a good programs for elementary, middle school, and high school. Their schools are great. I almost said another part of Atlanta that has a. There are some good schools here, but you have to go into some different areas than where most Black Americans live. So you're still going to be living in an area that's predominantly white or Hispanic. It's not going to be this Black. This is just my suggestions. If you want to come here and bring your child here, so you want him to get an education at a good school where the kids are there to get an education. I have friends who work out in Gwinnett County, and they said certain parts of Gwinnett County and Cobb County have turned into straight up hood areas, and the teachers out there are having a very, very, very hard time educating. I've had teachers, friends of mine who were teachers, retire from teaching. They're only in their 20s. And they said the kids are so out of control in these schools that it just doesn't make any sense. They can't teach. They can't teach. You can't teach the classroom. The class is so out of control. They have no way to get the class back under control. These schools are messed up here in Atlanta. In our communities. Now, in certain, like for example, I understand Sarah Smith Elementary, they don't tolerate that foolishness. If you have a child that's up there at Sarah Smith Elementary and they're not there to get an education, them parents will raise hell to get them kids out of that damn school, banned from that school. And you won't be up there fighting and all this bullshit that's going on in these them white folks are not allowing that shit to go on. They're not having it. Not here. This child got to go. And they will force those kids out. So, culture, education, housing, job. Those are all things that you should consider. You must consider when moving and looking at a city. But don't just look at a city because there's a lot of Black folks living there, and I want to be around a bunch of Black folks. That's not working out too well in our favor. Go someplace that's more diverse, where you get a range of Blacks, whites, Hispanics, Jews. You got Black folks need to be more exposed to different communities and understand different stuff. If I had children, they'd be exposed to everything. They wouldn't be just sitting around. First off, they would not be in Atlanta. I would have got my children up in Atlanta. I couldn't do it here. We'd be out in the country someplace. I would bring them into urban environments. We would go, we'll go to urban cities so they can see and experience and stuff. But I'd have to get my children back to safety. I can raise them around this urban jungle. No way in hell. Not based upon what I know. Hell no. That's a no. I'd have to find I'd have to search and find someplace safe to raise my children. And I already know urban cities are not the ticket. Not right now. And I don't want There's an old saying that's so true. One bad apple spoils the whole bunch. I don't want my children being raised around a bunch of bad apples. Even in my own family, it's a bunch of bad apples. I wouldn't want my children hanging around my nieces and nephews. I don't even want them to even know that them people exist. I'm just keeping it real. Moms, when we gonna go see Auntie so and so? Never. When you get grown, you can go over there and see what they're doing and who they are and what they're doing. When you get grown, but as of now, you can't go near them niggas. And that's just how I feel. So I didn't have children. I knew it was not going to be a good environment to raise children. I looked around my own family. I looked around my friends. I looked around a lot of stuff, and I said, okay, this is not good. This is not getting better. Are there some black folks thriving in Atlanta? Yes. Are there some black folks who really getting it in? Yes. Are these black folks living in nice homes and doing good things? Yes, 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 yes. They are educated. They are smart. They got the money. They got the income. They're succeeding. They can afford to send their children to some of these private schools. You know what these private schools cost here in Atlanta? This shit is high as hell. $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year per child. These parents pay it. There are some black folks who do pay this type of stuff. And they get them kids a solid education. But they got the money and the education. Their own businesses. They're not driving trucks and being substitute teachers. I'm just keeping it real. You can't come to Atlanta expecting success. I was just talking with somebody who said you have all these thousands and thousands of young black men moving to Atlanta who are unemployed. And they're flocking here. And they can't find work. But you got a film industry that's booming. They don't know how to get in. To get and do stuff in this industry. Atlanta's a tough city. If you don't know somebody, your ass might be doomed here. How do you maneuver? How do you get in? How do you know? I'm trying to. He was telling me I'm working with him. I'm gonna do some videos on how he was explaining about getting a Class A license and some other. I'm gonna write down in detail what he said people can do to get into the film industry and work. And some of these guys are making $20, $30, $40, $50 an hour working in that industry on these sets, doing all kinds of stuff. So we got to get that information out there and help these brothers break through to this field. And there's another element here that we must understand that it still exists all over America: racism. This is right. Look at who we have as the president of the United States. Should he have been even elected? Based upon his own racist behavior and all the events that took place during the election, they voted for him. And you got some black folks who voted for that food too. And standing by this man. We still live in a racist society. We still live in a society that's very racist. We still live in a place where black folks are being held back. And I guess that can happen anywhere in the United States, but I think I'd rather take my child someplace again where I know he has a chance of succeeding and thriving and getting an education. That's just my thoughts. So Atlanta would not be on the list. Not unless you come here with some hellified money to send your child to the best school, live in the best neighborhoods, it's got to be top notch all the way across. I don't all this coming to Atlanta to struggle. I don't get it. Now, I see so many people moving here. I quit my job and I came to Atlanta. I was there for 15 years, and they transferred here, and all kinds of disasters after they get to the city. I met a guy from Miami who worked for Whole Foods for at least 15 years or something like that, and he transferred here and then ended up falling out with somebody at wherever he was working at, and he ended up losing his job. And he couldn't, when he was down in Miami, he had a solid career. Got here and it was a disaster. He blames his own racism. It very well could be racist. But you were surviving in Miami, you should have stayed there. But he wanted something different. He wanted to get around. I wanted to be around more black people. Black folks, y'all, we got to get out of this mess about we had to be around more black people. You want to be around someplace where you can get a job, an income, and survive. Something that will and thrive. Not just because of the color of their skin. I've never really looked around neighborhoods and said, I want to live here just because the people look necessarily like me. I like more diverse communities myself personally. I've lived in all white neighborhoods, I've lived in all black neighborhoods, and both have their ups and downs and their problems. So for me, I like a more diverse community of blacks, whites, upper class, middle income, black, white, social. I like gentrified areas because it gives me a different feel. You see different races, different people, different thoughts, different ideas, different everything. That doesn't bother me. I love to see the fact that we have some things changing. But again, this is a long video, but I'm just telling you my thoughts. I just asked this question about this 11-year-old, this woman who was a substitute teacher, and she has a CDL license, who's living in Fort Worth, Texas, moved her child to Atlanta. Question, and I wouldn't. I'd do more research. A lot more research on other places. That's just my thoughts. But if you like my videos, click like, share them with family members and friends. Today is Saturday the 18th, the year is 2017. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm about to make me some breakfast or something, so I got something around here to eat. And then I'm going to get my ass up out of here and go to the gym. Maybe go to the barbershop today. I'm trying to decide should I go to the barbershop today or wait till the day before Thanksgiving and have them clean and stuff. I normally shave my head, and I've already shaved that today. But I just need to have this cleaned up a little bit. It's looking kind of rough. I feel like going up there waiting, but I might. Anyway, I'm out of here. Enjoy your Saturday. I look forward to reading you all's comments on today's video.